Welcome back to the Malted Man Cave. I'm your host Keith, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing a delicious limited edition wine-aged whiskey from the best distillery in the world. Coming up. So tonight we're going to be reviewing Springbank 12 Burgundy. And as I said before, this is a limited edition from the beautiful distillery of Springbank. It comes in at a whopping 53.5% ABV, non-colored and non-chill filtered, as every whiskey should be and as every Springbank is. They really are leading the way with the whole kind of craft distillery, craft presentation, truly doing everything handmade, homemade, with quality. There just is no better example other than Springbank. And I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse with this, but quality is quality. And honestly, when I have money in my hands, I mean, there's so many other amazing distilleries. Clynelish, Ardbeg, Lagavulin. I mean, I'll go on for days. Glendronach. But really, when I have that money in my hand, I really have a hard time buying anything else other than a Springbank if I can get my hands on it. So you guys should not do that because it's already hard enough to get Springbank, but I'm just telling you, it's just a one man's honest opinion about the best distillery in the world, which is Springbank. But this particular limited edition is special because a lot of wine matured whiskeys, a lot of times they're finished in wine cask. So, you know, they'll spend 8, 9, 10, 12 years in bourbon, and then maybe some sherry, and then they'll finish it off for 6 months or a year or 2 years into a wine cask. This one I believe is special, and I'll read the back. It says, the cask type is matured in first fill Burgundy barrels, distilled in November of 2003 and bottled in May of 2016. And there was only a total of 10,260 bottles. So I scoured the internet and I haven't found anything else to disprove that this was not, that it did not spend the entire 12 years in Burgundy cask. So if you know different, please let us know. I'd love to know. I always want to make sure I put out the right information out on the internet, interwebs. But Springbank 12 Burgundy, it's pretty special. I don't always like wine cask matured whiskeys, but this one is done right. And Springbank just has a way of just taking things that other people and other distilleries fail at and actually just doing it well. So enough of my soapbox. A little bit about Springbank for those of you who don't know, is if you're watching this for the first time and you have never heard of Springbank, it is a beautiful, beautiful distillery located on the Kintyre Peninsula in Scotland in a beautiful town called Campbelltown. Kind of close to the coast, so you get a little bit of that salinity, those marine notes. So there's a little bit of salt in here. They use quality barley, just quality first fill cask, as I already mentioned. It's literally probably the only truly, other than Kilchoman, distillery that can say they do everything handmade. They can do everything right there. They even bottle it, which is rare on the plant, and they actually hire, you know, people from Campbelltown, locals. So they're, you know, they don't just source everything out. They don't do everything at some like massive facility with their cookie cutters, and they actually have real people working hard, putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this beautiful whiskey. So this is, Springbank is their mildly peated version of Springbank, which owns the 3 brands of Hazelburn, which is unpeated, 3 times distilled, Longrow, which is 2 times distilled, and it's very heavily peated. I believe it spends 48 hours on the peated fires. And Springbank is mildly peated and 2.8 times distilled. Most people say 2.5, but it's actually 2.8. A little bit more about Springbank. What else should I say about this beautiful distillery? I think that's enough. I'm in danger of overkilling. You guys are going to think that somehow I'm getting kickbacks from Springbank, which I'm not. Although Springbank, I will take free bottles from you. Yes, I will. So without further ado, let's get into whiskey. I've been waiting so long to get into this last little bit, so I can't jack up this review, because if I do, I'm screwed. Alright. Anything else about this baby? Nope. Oh my gosh. There's just, immediately, every time I put my big old schnoz in a Glencairn with Springbank, you just get those beautiful buttery biscuits and sugar cookies. And one thing that Springbank shares, there's another distillery called Palate, and they just have the same thing. I don't know what if it's just the quality barley that they use, something in the fermentation process or the distillation. I don't know what it is, but somehow more so than any other distillery, you get this biscuity sugar cookies mixed with some earthy funk that I get with no other distillery, or at least not as strong as I get with Springbank and then Palate. Oh my goodness. A little bit of floral buttercups. A little bit of cola. Allspice has got a lot of kind of dry spices that I believe you're getting from the Burgundy cask. I don't pretend to be a wine sommelier. I don't pretend to be an expert in wine. I like wine, but I don't pretend to be an expert. Oh my goodness. Slightest bit of menthol. Parsley, and then you get a little bit, some vegetal notes. The parsley and uncooked broccoli. It's not unpleasant, but very, very unique. Somehow it's uncooked broccoli. And then all the earthy red wine and red grapes that you get from the Burgundy. Sweet candied pralines, caramel, milk chocolate. Slightest bit of red cayenne pepper, just a little bit of a spicy kick. Again, I think just the oakiness and the red wine, the dry red Burgundy. And lastly, I get kind of burnt, spicy oak ash. You guys have to excuse me, I'm a little bit under the weather, so if my notes aren't as good, that's part of it. Even though I got some of my notes off camera, I'm not getting as much as I normally would, although it's still coming through loud and clear with this, you know, it doesn't specify whether it's cask strength. I guess I just assume being 53.5 and being in there for 12 years, it's like around the area where you would think would be for cask strength, but it doesn't specifically label that on the label. So if it's not there, we can only assume. All right, into the finish. I'm all over the place tonight, guys. Into the palate. So good. I got this for $100, and I've seen this online recently for like $300, so I'm like, thank goodness that I picked it up. And I'm done telling where I get my Springbank, George. I'm no longer giving out my sources for where I get my Springbank and my long row. One of my biggest supporters, actually, so he is more than welcome to raid my sources. He has been one of the most generous. Him and his wife, Amy, have been so generous to me, so he can raid my stash whenever he wants. But I'm no longer giving it to anybody else. Mum's the word. Again, you get a biscuity note, just rich, thick, gristy, buttery biscuits. This time it's like almost underbaked sugar cookies on the palate. Cinnamon, you get that spicy, I think again from the red wine. Leather, again earthy, dry red wine. This is truly special. I've had better Springbanks, but this is really good. So powerful and spicy and drying, but it's like, it's kind of got that Highland Park 18 thing where it makes your mouth water, but also have like a drying feeling sensation at the same time, which is so unique to have your mouth like salivating but yet be dry at the same time. It's truly special, and Highland Park 18 is known for being one of the other whiskeys that does that. Raspberries. Now that I'm smelling it, I'm actually getting raspberries on the nose too. sour cherries, again, the candied pralines. And one thing that I put on Bruichladdich, the Octomore 8.3, which is also aged in Burgundy cask, I believe. I got this flannel shirt, like almost like, you know, like a manly flannel shirt, like if you put your mouth on it, just kind of like drying flannel. I don't even know how to describe it, but this has that same thing. So I don't know what it is with Burgundy cask, but it imparts this kind of flannel shirt that I like, as if you're sucking. I don't know why you'd be sucking on a flannel shirt, but that's kind of what I get. And that's kind of even more onto the finish where you get that. So on the finish, wow. Cinnamon, oak, drying leather, red hot candies, cinnamon, slightest bit of cola, maybe barely a hint of vegetal, kind of floral buttercups, that broccoli thing again, and then right into just red grapes, sugar cookies. How does it end? And then maybe just the slightest kick at the end of kind of red cayenne peppers. And then it does that, you know, drying thing mixed with also making your mouth salivate. Just a truly special whiskey, guys. It's not the best Springbank I've had, but just a really, really good quality wine-aged whiskey. So I would highly recommend that if you can find this. You probably cannot find this. I wanted to get this whiskey review done soon before, you know, these are all gone. Everyone's drank them and no one even wants to see a review it anymore. So I want to get this out now. I'm going to give this a Malted Man Cave mark of a 91 out of 100, almost borderline on a 92 out of 100. It is very delicious, worth every penny of the $100 that I paid for it. I'd probably pay $160, if not more, for this. I don't know if I'm going to pay that $300 that I saw online recently, but if you can find this, go pick it up. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. Me and Dave appreciate you guys watching us, and I appreciate watching when it's just me here by my lonesome. Thank you guys for supporting us, and as always, sláinte.